today to discuss my two amendments to the legislation that we've been debating this week. I think most of us would agree that we need to give folks a hand up. That makes a lot of sense. But we also need to ensure that they have a solid foundation on which to stand. The best way we can help the unemployed is to help them find a job. My amendment aims to do just that. First, we will restore the 40-hour work week, which was destroyed in Obamacare. The employer mandate currently requires employers to provide health insurance to full-time employees, and the new definition of a full-time employee is 30 hours per work week. As a result, employers are cutting hours for many of the employees to fewer than 30 hours per week. I've heard from several employers at home in South Carolina, representing institutions as large as Clemson University and as small as the local surf shop, who are suffering the consequences of this new 30-hour definition. A few weeks ago, I was on a bus in Charleston talking with some of my constituents. I started speaking with one young man who just moved to South Carolina from Georgia, looking for new opportunities. He worked for a restaurant and had recently received notice that his hours were getting cut. After talking with this young man for a few minutes, it became very clear to me that his pay was cut and his hours was dwindling as a direct effect of the 30-hour rule. And not only was he losing 25% of his pay, he was losing the ability to work overtime. According to the Hoover Institution, 2.6 million Americans are especially at risk of having their hours and wages cut like the young man that I was speaking to. Of that 2.6 million Americans, 59% of them are between the ages of 19 and 34. 63% are women, and 90% do not have a college degree. Further, families most at risk are those with a median income of $29,126. Many of these millions of Americans who are earning hourly wages to support their families will see a 25% cut in their pay as employers struggle with the massive new costs forced on them by the federal government, their federal government. Thanks to Obamacare, not only will these workers not have health insurance, but they will no longer have full-time jobs. We must, and I want to emphasize, we must restore the 40-hour work week, period. My second amendment is the same as my Skills Act, which I introduced as a part of my opportunity agenda earlier this year. It provides much-needed reforms to modernize the government's bureaucratic maze of workforce development and training programs. With 4 million jobs currently unfilled across our nation today, including 65,000 jobs in South Carolina, job skills training is critical for folks looking for work. We have to make sure people are prepared for continued success, and that starts with education and workforce training. Thanks to the leadership of my colleague, Mrs. Fox, in the House, the Skills Act has already passed with some Democratic support on the other side of the Capitol. It is well past time for the same thing to happen in the Senate. And I hope my colleagues will join me in providing more skills and more opportunities to develop skills to put Americans back to work. Madam President, this is truly a conversation about jobs. How do we encourage job growth and stop the government from blocking job creation? It's a simple answer. These two amendments are steps in the right direction. Let's not let them. Let's stop allowing politics to dictate the future of these two amendments. We can do better, and we should. Thank you, Madam President.